Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. Escape Room is a brand new 2017 horror movie that stars Skeet, Ulrich, Sean Young, Christine Donlan and Matt McVeigh, and is directed by Peter Dukes. And this film takes its inspiration, you could say, from a number of other horror movies like The Cube, even the Belko Experiment to a degree, the Saw movies, things like that, but manages to put its own twist on the genre and its own identity. As it essentially, this is the horror movie that is based on the escape rooms that you and I can all go to. Most big city centres have them, and you go in this room and you are given a certain amount of time to escape from this room, and you've got to solve puzzles, etc. So this is something you and I can all go to, and this story revolves around two couples who go into an escape room, and it all goes terribly wrong. So what we get here essentially is at the beginning of the movie, um, we see two Arab guys out in the desert wandering about for a while, and they end up burying this box in the sand. And then fast forward to, we then meet Skeet Ulrich's character, who you may remember from Scream. He wanders into an antique store and he spots this box on the shelf that we saw at the beginning of the movie. And we are informed by the shop's owner, which is Sean Young, that the box is in fact cursed and it's got some kind of demon inside it, and death and destruction follow it if you open it. Why she's got it on open display in the shop then is beyond me, even though she does explain that it's not for sale. But he wants this box. He really wants it because Skeet Ulrich runs an escape room called Arranged, and it's a horror-themed escape room that was once very popular, but it's slipping in its popularity now. But he really wants this box, so he basically steals it, leaves a bit of money, and does one. And Sean Young's a bit like, ooh, fair enough. You know, even though she truly believes that this thing is cursed, she's okay with it. Even though it's got deranged on his top, and she probably knows exactly where he's gone. She just lets him go. And so therefore he puts his box in this escape room. Then we meet these two couples who are going on a night out to this escape room. The two blokes are horror buffs. One writes for like a horror online site. And they're constantly arguing about which is the best horror movie, etc, etc, etc. Which is one thing this film does quite well. It throws a lot of horror quotes into the movie, and it mentions a lot of specific horror films like You're Next and The Thing and all that kind of stuff. It tries to be a bit meta in that way, and it kind of works, but not brilliantly. So they go to this deranged escape room for a night out, and lo and behold, the box is on the shelf. One of them opens it because they're trying to solve puzzles, seeing if there's anything inside this box. And at the back of the room, as you can see in the picture there, is an actor who's chained to the wall, and every 5 minutes he gets closer to them, and he's like the deranged killer that's going to get them all. But once that box is opened, it possesses this actor at the back of the room with the chain on, and things turn sour very, very quickly. And he starts attacking the group as he gets closer and closer. And it's mass panic then, because they've got to do what they've got to do to get out. That's the story they get here, that's the premise. And it's not a bad premise, and it's not a bad movie, to be fair. I've seen far, far worse. I was quite entertained watching this movie. I do have some issues with it, though. I think initially, at the beginning of the movie, we see the two Arab guys burying it in the sand, and then they kill each other. It's not a spoiler, this happens in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So it's buried in the desert somewhere, and then they kill each other. And then the next thing we know, it's on a shelf. And we learn it's been throughout all these horrible events throughout history. And I'm like, well, who found it in the desert? Did they leave a map? I doubt it, because I suspect they knew how dangerous it was. So that didn't make sense. I didn't buy the relationships between between the two sets of couples. There was no chemistry between them, and it was almost like they just met on the set prior to starting filming. There was no chemistry between them, and I didn't buy them as couples. And there was another scene in the movie where Skeet Ulrich's character, who runs the deranged escape room, he notices when he's checking back on the feed, because the camera feed goes down, when he reverses the video feed, he notices that the actor, or who he thinks is the actor with the hood on, he spots him like sabotaging the camera feed and destroying it. Now, if that was me, and if that was you, and if this was your business, you'd be straight in there because you're like, what's going on here? But he doesn't. He dilly-dallies about. And to me, that just wasn't realism. As an owner of a business, you would be straight in there. And he doesn't. He leaves it far longer than he needed to actually check anything, if anything was going wrong. So those are my three main issues with this movie. Other than that, it's a bit of a decent movie. I had fun with it. I liked the idea. It felt reasonably original. There was no real bad acting. I think Skeet Ulrich elevates the movie a little bit. He's absolutely fine in the movie. Sean Young is really only more than a cameo, but it was nice to see her in it. And actually, she was probably the worst actor in the movie. Believe it or not, I didn't buy her performance at all, but it was nice to see her in a movie. But other than that, this is worth a watch, I would say. I was mildly entertained by it. It did build the tension, especially as we were getting closer to the people in the room. So, yeah, if you see this one, this is worth a watch, I would say.